All right, I'm about to hit my 5-month mark on the carnivore diet. It's a pretty big accomplishment for me when it comes to diets. But the other day, I ate some fruit. And so we're going to talk about how that fruit affected me, even though it was just one time. So just this past weekend was Mother's Day, and we went out to eat. We went to a Korean barbecue place, which it was my first time ever being to a Korean barbecue place, and I have to tell you, for a carnivore, it was like heaven. The only way it could be any better is if it was a Brazilian steakhouse. That way I wouldn't have to cook myself. Anyways, they had pineapple, and not everybody was eating the pineapple, so I decided, hey, it's Mother's Day weekend. I haven't had any fruit for a long time, and how bad can fruit really be for me? I mean, it's fruit, right? I mean, have I not been convinced that just meat is the perfect diet? I just think, hey, maybe it's just getting the junk food out of my diet, the highly processed food out of my diet. Pineapple's probably fine, right? Well, that's what we're about to talk about right now. So I grilled up the pineapple and I ate it. These pieces were like hand-sized, like little triangles or whatnot. And so I wouldn't have thought they were, very much. I've eaten way more pineapple before in my life. I grilled these up, but I probably had like 4 slices. One of the bigger, most noticeable things was probably the digestion issues. I felt bloated and gassy very quickly afterwards. Not like immediately, but like within the next few hours or so. My stomach felt full of air, felt like I had gas, I needed to go to the bathroom, and then created some diarrhea. Normally, if somebody was telling me this story, I probably would have argued it to them and said, hey, you've only been doing this single diet for so long, so maybe adding this food in there really upset your stomach, and that's why you had the digestive issues. But I remember what it was like to eat plant-based back when I was eating regular standard American diet. And I got gas from that. And while it was standard American diet, I had gas all the time anyways. So, it was just more gas than when I was standard American. But when I went carnivore, I didn't have a period of time where I had gas. The gas went away fairly quickly. So I don't want to say that it's probably because I changed my diet up and all of a sudden now I got gas and diarrhea. Not that I'm a scientist or anything, but I would hypothesize that plant matter in my stomach and in my digestive system ferments or something and causes a bunch more gases to be released. There must be some sort of a chemical interaction inside of my stomach that causes the digestive strain. I don't know, don't quote me on it, I'm just telling you what my experience was. I had gas and digestive issues before going on carnivore. Then that stuff went away, and then bringing some pineapple into my diet brought it back. So you be the judge. The next thing I noticed was that I was more hungry. Usually I can get by with eating 1 or 2 times in a day. When we went to the Korean barbecue place, I had already had breakfast that morning. I had like half a dozen eggs or so with some bacon and things. Then we went to the Korean barbecue place. I had a lot of food. I had 3 or 4 New York strips, a couple hanger steaks, some pork belly, and it was just some shrimp. I had tons of food, and I was starting to get full. It was after the pineapple that I finally felt the fullness. But as soon as I got back to the condo that we were staying at, I was getting hungry again. And it was interesting because what I would normally eat wasn't really satisfying me. I was getting cravings for things that were not on the diet list. Things like cashews, peanut butter, chips. I was wanting that junk food again. And I knew when I was feeling that I had made a bad decision on eating some pineapple. This might not be the experience that everybody would have, but for me, because of my sugar addiction, my food addiction, it was a bad decision because it led me to desiring and craving those other things. I was able to fight it, but it had a hold on me for a moment. There are some people that would say that you can eat mostly a carnivore diet and occasionally have a treat. And I think for people that can handle that, they can handle that and they should do that. But for people like me, if you're like me and you have a weight issue and your weight issue stems from some sort of a food addiction or binge eating or some sort of abuse of food, it's probably, if I'm talking to myself, safer to stay away from any type of sugary plant matter type foods so that you don't get back on having the cravings again. Another thing I want to attribute to the pineapple, I'm not totally sure, but it seems kind of suspicious, the timing and all. But before starting the carnivore diet, I struggled with lower back pain. But since I started the carnivore diet, I don't know if it was the losing the weight or if it was because of the food itself, but the lower back pain had pretty much been gone. And then just this past few days, I had the lower back pain come and then leave again. Now, today's Thursday. It was Saturday when I had the pineapple. And so it came over a couple of days and it left over a couple of days. There's no way that I would know for sure, but it seems awfully suspicious that the pain would come back shortly after eating the pineapple. And that's the only thing I've really changed. Okay, here's another one that's kind of odd. I told you a while back that I was going to start a 30-day challenge where I upload one video every day for 30 days onto this YouTube channel. Well, I've been steady on it, and today's day number 19. The schedule for my day normally goes is I get up around 6:30 in the morning, get ready for work, take the kids to school if need be, go to work, don't get back until probably 6 o'clock in the evening, spend time with the family. I don't usually get out to start even thinking about what I'm going to name the video or what the video is going to be about until close to about 10 o'clock at night. And then between 10 and 2, I'll shoot the video, title it, description, upload, edit, all of the stuff for about 3 to 4 hours. And then by the time 2 a.m. rolls around, I get in bed and then I'm back up at 6:30 in the morning. Well, for the first 15 days or so before eating the pineapple, I mean, I was tired in the mornings and coffee was my friend, but I had not fallen asleep in the middle of editing or in the middle of shooting or anything like that. But after having the pineapple, like the very next day, drained. I was falling asleep. I fell asleep in the middle of uploading a video onto YouTube. So much so that I scheduled the video wrong, I typed in the wrong description and the title, and everything was awry, and I had to hurry up and quickly fix it in the morning when I woke up. But now that the pineapple's out of my system, I'm back to having plenty of energy. So there's something to say. I think another suspicious situation where the pineapple comes around the same time that a few issues pop up. It's not guaranteed that I can say that it was the pineapple's fault, but I think a lot of clues are all pointing towards the pineapple. Fun fact, if you've watched any of my videos, you may have learned that I was in the military back in the day. Well, fun fact is that on my last deployment before I was retired, whenever we would go off base, my call sign was pineapple. So it's interesting that stressful times would come back, not just in the form of my name, but also in the form of food that I would eat. And I have to say, I really love the taste of pineapple. Pineapple tastes good. So back in the day when I was not carnivore, I would eat so much pineapple that my tongue would burn. So pineapple has caused me pains in many ways. But the story of how my call sign became pineapple is a story for another day. So maybe you should subscribe because I might be explaining that in a future video. And since we're currently talking about me eating fruit, maybe it would make sense for you to watch this next video where I talk about my experience on the plant-based vegan diet versus my current diet, the carnivore diet. Check that video out and I'll see you there.